all the trouble that we get into. Other than a wild hair once in a while, we can't help it, it's just our style.
False start.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Number one.
Yep.
False start.
Delay a game.
Court is in session.
Now there's Wendy Hughes Garcia. First one in this morning. Let's see who else is checking in. Mark Kurtz, Ricky King.
For what purpose does the gentleman yield? The gentleman yields.
How did I do that this morning?
I don't know. We just forgot to hit the go live, but we were just standing here jamming on some Mo Bandy.
About to start the show and realized, oops, we had no show to start. But now we're here. Welcome. Good morning. Those of you on Magic, those of you on Facebook, those of you on YouTube, all three of you.
We are off to a start, folks. The Wade and Carter weather is ratcheted up one notch. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. I got a red funnel at the house. I used it the other day. It's not symbolic. I needed to put that oil and gas mixture into a weed eater, a blower, an edger. And I just didn't want to make a mess. Because the bulk, it's a 2.5 gallon gas can. And the
cost you 30. What does that cost nowadays?
Oh, well, the can's like $30-something because it's got all this better mousetrap.
Oh, you mix it yourself. You don't
mix the oil and gas. But then the lid has it, you screw it on and it ratchets down, and then you got to push this handle and shove that. It's the whole thing.
I always take that off and just pour it.
Well, the whole thing is about keeping gas fumes. You've walked into people's garage, especially older folks like me, and you walk in and you find that their garage smells like gasoline, and it's because they've got that old school. Some of them, how dare them, have like that metal spout that you put the cap on. Well, you lose the cap, and the next thing you know, your gas just sits there and kind of evaporates. I don't think it's a fire hazard. I don't think the density is ever enough to really be a fire hazard.
Could be.
If
they store it next to your gas water tank.
Yeah, if you're, stupid. But when that happens, I'm in there doing that, and because they want to keep the implements light, the weed eater only holds about a half a pint of fuel. Now, I can weed eat the yard twice with it, and then I've got to go back and fill it back up. But I always end up with oil and gas on the garage floor.
I didn't know if you bought the pre-mixed can of gas.
No. I just go and I regulate exactly 2 gallons, and then I give it 2 squirts into there. And I haven't burned anything up yet. But you can get that funnel for 99 cents, just like it was when we started at Deerland Feed. 79 degrees in Victoria. It's cloudy. Heading to a high today of 94. The sun should peak out this afternoon.
Tomorrow.
The sun always comes out tomorrow.
Judge Posey, good morning. Scott Tomko, Rena Scherer, Amanda King.
Hello, Rena.
Junior, good morning. Jordan Glass, Justin Glass, and seeing Junior there. And I was supposed to be guest on the Bill Posey show this morning. I lined that up with him Saturday night. I might have had a beer or two before I agreed to that, so I kind of forgot this morning, but I'll fix that.
How did you remember it?
I just saw Junior, and I figured he was on there this morning. He's usually on Tuesdays. Bobby Leister, good morning. Matt Boucher ran into Bobby yesterday. Had a good chat with him. Linda Christ, Marvin Mickish, good to see you. Will Vincent,
hey, Will.
Stuart Martin, Funky Trey Molina, good to see you, Funky.
Funky Trey Molina.
Micah Patton, Tammy Keeling, David Glass.
You can't just go by like that. President of the school board, Micah Patton. Hats off to you, sir. Thank you for your service and for doubling down on the most thankless job in the community. I mean, it's one thing to join the school board. It's another to be president. That's tough. Nobody likes you.
Heather Stewart, good morning.
We like you.
B. Small says his garage smells of leather-bound books and mahogany.
Oh, yes. Well, you are the Ron Burgundy of the neighborhood.
Scott Snow, Chris Conrad, good morning. Torrin Bales, Lisa Poole, Stephanie Connie, glad you're all here.
Stephanie Connie and Lisa Poole, first ones to tell you that Thursday night, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends, we're going to be there.
Yeah, come on out.
Come on out. It'll be fun. It's always fun. Palace Bingo is fun. They can't stop us from having fun. We have fun. We are the Wade and Carter Night at Palace Bingo. I've started adding up that over the last several years, we've put a lot of money into Palace Bingo's charitable donations.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. Good morning, Brent Goen.
Jarrett McCrugan checking in. So President Trump going to talk to the folks in the Capitol today. He had a call yesterday with Vlad Putin. A couple hours on the phone. I mean, what were they talking about? Taylor Swift and
probably. Are the Kelsey
and
brothers
NBA?
coming back? Yeah.
I don't know.
WNBA.
And then he had got off the phone with Vlad, and then he talked to Vlad, and apparently has said he will not have any more talks with them now, which is his way of saying that my role here is done because I can't get anything done.
He can't get anything done, so he's going to turn them over to it. Zelensky is relentless in his pursuit of Russia, and Russia is saying we're not going to back out and take away the border that we've attained. So that is a problem. Quick aside, because that war is not going to go away, and Russia is going to squash them. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Trump said his goals were clear. He wanted a full ceasefire with no conditions or preconditions, an exchange of prisoners, or actually that was Zelensky's goals, and return of Ukrainian children who were forcibly taken to Russia. I don't see why any of those would be deal breakers if you want to end the war, if you're Vlad Putin. Ceasefire, let's stop right now.
Right.
Without any, but then he says without conditions, but wouldn't
he's
an
not going
exchange
to give up his border?
Wouldn't an exchange of prisoners and the return of children be conditions?
Well, but they should both do that, right? They should both give up their hostages, if you will.
And apparently, I think over the weekend or late last week, they each gave like 1,000 prisoners of war back to each other.
But is Zelensky suggesting that Russia leave and not keep any of the land they've acquired through this?
I think that's his point, and Putin's not going to do that.
Putin's like, no, we're not going to have people that died in vain. Although Putin started this, I get it. Trump apparently just doesn't have the influence over Putin that he wants. And that's interesting. On the other side,
or says he had.
On the other side, you've got Israel and Hamas. What I like, and whether you agree with him or not, what I like about Benjamin Netanyahu is he flat said from the start, we are going to eradicate Hamas. And he said the other day, we can end this war right now. Hamas returns all of the hostages, lays down their arms, and goes away. And Hamas said, nuts. So, fine. Netanyahu doubled down yesterday and said, fine, then we will continue to go through there. We're going to give aid, but we're going to eliminate Hamas.
And
they're going to kill them all.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health said 400 people were killed and 1,000 others injured over the weekend in the attacks that Israel launched on the Gaza Strip. I don't believe much of anything that comes out of the Palestinian Ministry of Health, so I'm not 100% convinced those numbers are legit. And I'm sure some people did die, and I'm sure some were injured because that's what happens.
Well,
but
Palestine's not a country.
Well, Hamas seems to forget they started this whole thing, and they could easily end it.
That's
Hamas could give up ruling Gaza and go walk away into the sunset.
Right.
Only to reform as some other terrorist organization. Let's not forget that's what they do. But they could end it, but they don't want to because 5 aid trucks are going to be allowed into Gaza. That's the other thing. I think this morning Netanyahu said, hey, we're going to take control of Gaza and we're going to control the flow of aid. And so 5 trucks are allowed in, and the UN were like, that's not even a drop in the ocean.
It's what they called it, a drop in the ocean of what is urgently needed. But here's what Netanyahu's saying. You want water? You want food? Quit killing my boys. Netanyahu is not Volodymyr Zelensky. Netanyahu is a soldier. He has fought. And he is, exactly. The primary funder of Hamas is Qatar, no doubt about it. But that's also, I think, in part.
And the U.S.
Well,
we gave them a lot of money over the years.
Sure we did.
The UN.
Very easy to, it's when you get into global politics like that, it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. There's a lot of that.
Yeah. Qatar's, I mean, it's Iran and then it's Qatar as far as funding the instability in the Middle East.
They're still Muslim. They still hate the Jews. There's no getting around it.
And there's some huge Qatar World Economic Forum deal going on Watch some of it. It was boring as hell. Don't get me
It
wrong.
is boring. It's they're talking about, and they're all speaking. It's interesting. They're all speaking English. All His Excellency, so and so, Al Jazeera. They're all speaking English.
Elon Musk is going to speak there at 8:00 our time this morning. Lots of speaking going on at 8:00. President Trump's going to speak on Capitol Hill at 8:00.
I think he's going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. But I do think that that Israel. Well, let's see. Israel in this case is taking the position that Russia is taking against Ukraine. However, Israel is more akin to Ukraine in this war. They're just saying, you attacked us and we are going to eliminate you. And I just don't have a problem with it. You can say, what about the children? Well, you know what? When your parents, if you were in Nazi Germany and your parents aligned with the Nazis and you happen to get killed because we decided to carpet bomb Munich, man, that's just a bad deal. Sorry for you. It's a bummer. Your parents are Nazis. If you choose to strike out at Israel because you just hate the Jews, well, I don't care which side of the religious thing you're on. If you choose to strike out at Israel just because they're Jews, and the Jews decide to whip your ass, don't get upset
when they whip your ass.
When they whip your ass. I mean, you got it coming.
And I think the only thing that's keeping Israel from actually going in and wiping out the Gaza Strip
the U.S.
Is the U.S. and pressure from the world not to do that.
Again, there is no Palestine. There's a Palestine, Texas. I can take you there. They don't have a country. They're just a group of people, Arabs, who live in a region that they chose to let Hamas govern because Qatar gave them money.
And they keep their people impoverished, and they make billions and siphon it off from UN aid. I mean, we've pointed that out, that we've connected all those dots over the time. But here's the real reason, folks.
Israel wants to kill them all to make a deterrent type comment.
Northrop Grumman. Record earnings season. General Dynamics. Earnings increased compared to quarter one a year ago.
Well, it's like Stephanie Conley says, Trump's got everyone working against him, trying to keep the war going. The military-industrial complex does not want war to end. They're in the war business.
The Iron Dome is basically our money and knowledge helping Israel.
Stephanie, prayers for your parents. I didn't know that both your parents were in the hospital. So many of you know Joe Conti, longtime hardware purveyor, great guy. I hope they get well. Yeah, our government makes money off war. There's no getting around it.
Northrop Grumman reported a record high order backlog of $93 billion. They're like Boeing of the defense industry, except they don't make products that are defective. They've got so much demand, they can't keep up with it. $93 billion backlog.
Oh. You find that you can judge people based on the stereotypes you hear about them, or you can look at what really happens. We've heard that President Trump is anti-Semitic. Doesn't appear to be that way in his dealings with Benjamin Netanyahu. You hear that he's a warmonger. He's going to get us into World War III, yet he's bucking the military-industrial complex.
And just weave through the Middle East to try to secure peace and got nothing but flack for it. And I get it.
How have you ever seen a dictator who was pro Second Amendment? Don't most dictators want to control the media, pick up all the weapons? Yeah. It's the left that wants all your guns in the name of protecting you.
Yeah. And now he's saying he's trying to fight against states that want to legislate against AI technology. And now he's cozying up to big tech. Have you noticed the way the media phrases this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
It's not big pharma till post-COVID, and now it's big pharma because they've been exposed for being in bed with big pharma.
Obama hated big pharma.
Now it's big tech. But it wasn't big tech when the left was all friends with Bill Gates.
No, that was just smart.
Or the Google Alphabet guys. Now it's big tech because they don't like them.
B. Small says, how can the Gaza Strip still exist? It's just a strip. Wipe it out. Wax it. Just get rid of that landing strip. Just get rid of it.
Donald Trump a few months ago said the exact same thing you and I have been saying for years. That could have been the jewel of the Middle East.
Oh.
Had Hamas not.
Only Trump, though. I mean, do you really want the president of the United States looking at this? Could be a super development? Trump Tower, Gaza. I mean, I don't want to hear that. I don't.
No, but he was right. He was right about it.
I know. He's been right about everything.
Well, not everything.
Pretty much.
Wasn't right about ending the war in Russia or in Ukraine.
I thought that I really thought it would. I do think this. Didn't Zelensky finally relent and sign the minerals deal?
Yes.
Okay. In due time, the U.S. will have engineers and mining companies there, and when they arrive, it'll be a very public arrival, and you won't see any more war in that area. That's the practicality of what will happen. Yeah. Junior Samples with a actually intelligent comment says Trump was not a racist, a homophobe, anti-Semitic, or a bigot until he ran for president. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah. And actually, he still wouldn't have been that if he would have ran for president as Democrat. But because he aligned himself with the Republican Party and stopped giving donations.
There's Ron Koshin checking in. Ron, why don't you come on out to bingo on Thursday night and have a good time with the Wade and Carter crowd? Come actually see what goes on.
I think we might have a huge.
I'd love to have a large contingent there. We raise thousands and thousands of dollars for the charities in this area through our association with Palace Bingo.
Well, you all do because you all come out and spend your hard-earned dollars at Palace Bingo.
People that would never go to bingo ever come to Palace Bingo.
Us included.
Carter. Amen. I'd never been there in my life.
I hadn't been.
That's right.
Good. I hadn't been there since my grandma.
Good. I think you should be there, sir.
And visit. So we'll be there Thursday night. Come on out. Bring your friends. We'll have a good time.
Good deal. It's
Alan's Wrecker Service. 578-6300. Give Alan a call for all your towing needs. Memorial Day weekend's coming up. They're going to be real busy. And that's sad.
Folks, just be the one. Be the one that avoids. Don't drink and drive. I don't know why you go out and get drunk on Memorial Day anyway, but don't drink and drive. We have Uber in Victoria. Reach out to them. Yes, that's exactly right. 7 charities supported. It's awesome.
Like Melissa Hansen's going to be a bingo.
Absolutely. Melissa, you should sit next to me. That's down on the quiet end of the table. USA Concrete Coatings.
Charlie Garcia and his gang come out. Level the slabs, seal the cracks.
Yeah, they also have USA Foundation Repair. How about that? They can level. You got those door jambs that don't work right anymore. That's a sure sign that your slab is starting to lean, crack somewhere. They can fix it. Yes, Stephanie points out we have Lyft. Just call Lyft. Get the app. It's free. The rides are cheap, certainly cheaper than a DWI.
Absolutely.
Don't drink and drive in this town. Be the leader. Be the smart person that takes Lyft. Dollar Floor Store, whether you need vinyl flooring, laminate flooring, hardwood, they can be a source for you for any type of flooring you want. Reach out and see them. They're right there on Navarro. Super nice folks. They have the volume buying power. They have multiple stores around the state. Get by and see them. Veracruz Restaurant. It's pre-called on Tuesday. Get in today and find out what's going on at Veracruz. Best queso, best guac,
best fajitas.
Best fajitas. Oh, they have great fajitas. They also make a wonderful spicy fajita that is Really, really good. Paravita Wellness, get in and get healthy. You can mix it. Moderation. I go in and tell them, hey, I want high protein, no carbs. One thing leads to another. Paravita helps a lot. I'm down 28 pounds since January the 15th by focusing on what I do at Paravita. Michelle Wilson Hawkins back in from Italy says, I'm definitely having Veracruz today. Cody Ballman says, $100 a person for the Wade and Carter taxi service. That's in his Tundra, and it's a hybrid. It's a big old burly truck. Yeah. There you go. Chopping block.
Well, they've got all their barbecue specials going on. Brisket burgers, $3 a burger. Patty, steak burgers, $3.50.
Really? Those are usually $4 a throw.
Wagyu steak burgers, $4. They've got Angus ribeyes at $15.99 a pound. Angus hot dogs at $7.99 a pound. Those are all the specials for Memorial Day. Plus, don't forget, they've still got all your barbecuing essentials, your briskets, your chickens, but also go to their website, or I should say their Facebook page, the Chopping Block Victoria.
First rule of radio, man. You
don't hit the microphone. Yeah, don't hit the itchy nose and didn't realize it was just close to it. Like their post, tag 3 friends in the comments, and share the post, and you'll get a chance to win 4 steaks, 4 patties, 4 hot dogs, and a special seasoning along with 4 of their Boudin links.
Linda Chris says, our table wins a lot. I think that might be why they don't like us. I don't know who they is. I don't think we're really that loud. The reality, well, we're going to be loud. It's one night a month, and it's the Wade and Carter
There's 30
night,
people at a table.
That's right. And there's 50 people in the hall. So, when you're 60% of the crowd.
It's good math.
Yeah. Well, around, Ash would say, when you're around 50%, yeah, something like that, you're going to be right. Right. 3/5. You're going to be, you're going to win more.
Yeah.
Now you throw in the Bob Constantine factor. When Bob comes in, Bob is like the guy that walks in and goes, give me that whole roll of lottery tickets. Okay. Now, in my mind, that whole roll has more losers than winners. I mean, ultimately, that if that roll doesn't make money, the lottery doesn't make money. But Bob finds a way to basically dominate the horse races and things out there. It's all good fun. It's all charity based. We're very proud of our association. I can tell you that through the years that we've been doing it, I can only think of for sure 1, maybe 2 times that somebody at our table didn't win. We always have a winner.
I think there's only been two months where we have not had.
You might get $4.20 if you split it.
Yeah, you might get ways. Yeah, you might. I totaled it up. I think I've won 2 bingos for a total of $300 of the purses, and I ended up splitting them with 78 people.
Right.
Other people.
You are what we call in the red,
yeah.
Much like our federal government when it comes to bingo. If you're playing bingo for more than fun, you're not making good investments.
No, not at all. And
charitable donation and having a good time.
Yeah. So Axios has since we talked about this last week with Ricky De La Garza and the Narcan, Axios went and determined the cost of opioid use disorder across the country. And
it appears to be low in Texas.
It's lower.
Because we just don't care.
No.
Is that it?
It costs on average nearly $700,000 to treat each affected person who abuses opioids.
700,000. Can we open a clinic?
It's across the country.
Let's open a clinic.
They're saying it cost an estimated $4 trillion last year.
And that was using 2017 figures to
project into 2024.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
$4 trillion.
Range from 419. And here's what they factored into that: lost productivity, health insurance, property loss to crime, because we know that a lot of crime is committed by the opioid users who just need their next fix. These are the people breaking into your cars, stealing your tailgates off your trucks, things like that. Cost rose, imagine that, $2.4 million per case in DC to about $419,000 in Idaho. That's crazy, folks.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I wonder how much the Narcan costs. I wonder what those government. I just find I don't know. It just.
Scott Tonka with a great idea. I'm not abusing opioids. Can they just send me 50% of that and they'd still save money?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
send me $350 or I'm going to start doing opioids. It's going to cost, right?
Well, some of that was lost productivity. I'm sure they're factoring in the wages lost when they lose their jobs and end up on the street and all that stuff. But still. But here's the thing: that don't matter. Those numbers don't matter to the junkie. And whatever happened to the big settlements? Did it ever get to the people?
No.
When they find all these big pharma companies for hooking people on opioids and painkillers? No.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree. Just say no. Just don't do. I have too much of an addictive personality. I mean, aside from the fact that it was quote unquote, it was just wrong. I didn't do drugs because I was afraid I would like them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being afraid. Be afraid of things. I've seen enough movies where people depicted like the guy taking heroin. First of all, I hate needles, so that would never happen. But, I would be afraid that all of a sudden I'd be like selling my golf clubs to buy cocaine. Probably not getting a good deal.
Probably not.
Yeah, there's BJ Nelson. Good
Selling your
man.
golf clubs might fix your golfing game.
Oh, man, I know people that have bowled for years and never lost a ball. I don't go to the golf course with less than 3 sleeves. I mean, they're going. And it's always that one where you hit it just flush, but you came over the top and you pull it left. And you've seen me do it out there at country clubs.
Yeah.
Whoa, and you go, man, that ball went a long way. I go, yeah, right into the neighborhood.
Reminded me of Cam Smith's foul ball yesterday that he hit
Wow.
like 440 feet foul with an exit speed of 113 miles.
Yeah,
an hour.
he's got some torque for a young man. Hey, with that, Astros First State Bank of Louise update, the friendliest bank anywhere. Our branch is located at the corner of Stockbauer and Salem Roads, right there on what I would call the southwest corner.
I know it's not ideal for the Tampa Bay Rays, but boy, it's kind of exciting to watch ball in a small outdoor Steinbrenner Stadium as opposed to Tropicana Field.
Now, is it George Steinbrenner? Is that a field that's owned by the Yankees in Tampa?
Yeah, and
okay.
They were saying that the field the dimensions mimic Yankee Stadium.
Was Jeter involved in Tampa Bay? Is that where he has equity?
I thought he was with the Marlins.
Okay, and that's what I thought as well. So I'm wrong. I thought maybe there was a connection there.
No, they had to play there because there's no other place to play with Tropicana Field being destroyed. Yeah,
I guess it was Hurricane Beryl. Is that what went through there? And it ripped the top off of this stadium, and they just can't get it done quick enough. So they had to, and Tropicana be small is correct. It's a terrible ballpark to begin with. I don't know if they're doing renovations or simply putting it back together.
I think they don't know yet.
Closed
of what
for
it's
the
going to
year.
Cost.
Closed for the year. Speaking
Maybe
of not
longer.
getting things done timely, did you see in this big, beautiful
The
bill?
Astros won yesterday.
Yeah, they did 4-3.
Fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was really a good game. In fact, and you saw something. If you watch the game, the Rays have a runner at third with 1 out, and the 9-hole hitter comes up. No, I'm sorry. The 8-hole hitter comes up. Typically not your best hitter, but a big league player couldn't get a bunt down. The infield came in. They wanted to stop that run from coming home to send it to extra innings, bottom of the 9th. And the guy tries to lay the bunt down and literally pops up the bunt. It's a terrible
Altuve
bunt.
mate a nice catch on it. He had to dive for it.
Came in and slid and caught it and popped right up and held the runner at third. But then Hader got the last guy to pop up. But, I mean, if you're a big league ball player and you can't get a bunt down, that's because that's something you don't practice enough. Kids practice your bunting.
Nobody can drop a bunt anymore.
No, and it's just not that hard. Well, you get the bat where you want it and you use your body to go up and down. You don't drop the bat down. That's what popped it up. Anyway, the fundamentals of baseball are
That
lost.
or chasing a high pitch. That's how you beat the bunt in today's major leagues.
This guy, I mean, if he would have bunted it right towards second, that runner coming from third would have scored. But instead, he got under it, whoop, pops it up. Altuve catches it. Be small. Don't rush the update, son. Don't rush the update.
We were getting there.
Be small and adequate outfielder with a, when they go like he's got a plus speed, plus bat, be small and a double minus arm. He had hurt it, I think, in a painting accident, summer job
doing
or something.
Watercolors.
Wasn't doing anything athletic.
Astros still 2.5 back of the Mariners. Second.
That's fine.
In
The Mariners
AL
will
West.
fold like the Mariners always fold. They won 4 in a row to be where they are. The Mariners are not that good a ball club.
They've won 4 in a row just to be 5-5 in their last 10.
Right.
So,
And the Astros are 6-4 over their last team.
Yeah.
B. Small says he could get the bunt
That's
down.
because he couldn't swing a bat.
That's why he hit that. He would swing and when you finish, they say finish a round, and all of a sudden his right shoulder would just come out of socket. His arm would go flying out towards the pitcher.
So the big beautiful bill, and I'm sure that's what Donald Trump's going to talk about. The president's going to talk about when he speaks on Capitol Hill.
You and I agree on this, by the way, in an unrehearsed comment. You made the comment. I'm not sure I can totally disagree with Congressman Chip Roy's stance on these things.
Voted present as opposed to against the bill.
But would
Wants to
not
see
vote
some
for it.
progress.
And he's on a finance committee where they have the opportunity to review these things. And Chip Roy's just saying, for example, they have a deal if you're an able-bodied man, and they've got definitions for these things. If you're an able-bodied man, you've got to be off Medicaid by the bill calls for 2029. And the guise was that this gives states time to adjust. That's bull. So they've got a acquiescence, and they've agreed that, okay, by January of 27, which is not so bad. If the states can't deal with getting people off Medicaid within the next 2 years, then there's too much bureaucracy.
And they want to be able to, right now, I think it's once a year, right? They have to determine whether or not they qualify. Thank you, Newsweek. I'm trying to get to Newsweek on this, and there's just pop-up after pop-up.
I hate pop-ups.
Not
I
letting
pay
me-
to not have pop-ups.
Not letting me do anything. But anyway, because Chip Roy has called this the Medicaid money laundering scam.
Absolutely.
And perverse structure, providing 7 times more federal dollars for each dollar of state spending for the able-bodied relative to the vulnerable. And this ultimately increases the likelihood of continuing deficits and non-Obamacare expansion states like Texas.
So notice that. Read that slowly again. Seven times more federal dollars for each dollar of state spending for the able-bodied relative to the vulnerable. The vulnerable, again, is like saying illegal alien. It's a definable term. Vulnerable has something to do with disenfranchised or poor, below the poverty level. Able-bodied means you just don't work and you're basically a deadbeat drag on the country.
And I think Obamacare wanted to put like caretakers of people on Medicaid onto Medicaid to expand the Medicaid rolls.
So understand that Medicaid or Medicare,
Medicare is for the retired.
Medicaid basically paid 60% reimbursement to the states. 60%. So you go to the doctor, you get a $100 bill. Medicaid pays $60 of it. Obamacare was just a broadening of who was eligible for Medicaid. That's all Obamacare was. You pay in $100 a month, and guess what? Now Obamacare tells the states, we will reimburse you 90%. So now your tax dollars are going for Joe Couch Potato, where you're going to pay 90% of his medical bills. And the states went, and rightfully so, the states said, well, okay, you're going to pay 90%. You're only paying 60. Now you're going to pay 90. All right, well, we'll take that deal.
Yeah.
So.
And some states did, Texas didn't.
There you go.
But what other, and Chip Roy also said he was not happy with the bill because it just reduced spending for what he calls the green new scam subsidies. Well, I agree with him. Eliminate them. But you made a point too, similar to, and use the analogy of our community center. Do you pass up good to get to great?
Right.
Or do you accept this? And this is kind of what I've been doing a little bit of reading this morning is where Republicans are on this. Well, let's start here so we can get to there.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't think that's, I don't think that's so bad. So it says the big, beautiful bill is great till it gets to taxing Social Security. Their system on income, I don't know. I can't read all that, Junior. It doesn't make any sense to me. I know that right now, if you in this country make over $44,000 a year in retirement, the government taxes 85% of your Social Security benefit at your current tax rate. So follow that. You're making 50 grand a year and you pick up another, I'm making this up, $12,000 a year on Social Security. 85% of that 12 grand, roughly $10,000, is taxable just like your other 50 grand. The last 2,000 is tax exempt. Trump is wanting to eliminate taxes. Trump wants to eliminate taxes on all Social Security benefits. What a great benefit to our seniors, especially those that still, maybe they're a greeter at Walmart and they make maybe they make 50 grand a year doing whatever they're doing. I'm an insurance agent. I'm not going to retire. I'll make 50 grand sitting on my seeds on the sofa. The reality is, why are you taxing my Social Security that I put in there all those years? So I don't disagree with that. Trump is, you also in this bill get no tax on tips. And for those of you that work in the plants, Trump is pro no tax on overtime money. Man, he's trying to put America back to work. You hear people all the time. I grew up with these people that just didn't get it. They didn't get it. Well, I don't want to work any more overtime at the plant because if I do, I'm going to a higher tax rate. Well, that's why you're a plant worker and not a CPA, but go with that thought.
Only on the overtime over a certain amount.
Come on, people, be smart. At the end of the day, if they don't tax your overtime, what a bonus to the hardworking guy that goes out there and turns a wrench all day.
And here's the thing. It's good for the economy. You know why? Because Americans don't save.
Yep.
Americans spend. So if you're not taxing overtime or tips, that money's going to go back into the economy, which is a good thing. I spoke to a business owner the other day who right now says government spending is the only thing propping up his business because there's no private spending doing anything.
Right. Junior makes a solid point. Something that I remember, one of the first things that Dave Ramsey ever said that really resonated with me is they were bragging about these Roth IRAs and all this stuff. And that one of the big selling points was, well, what you do is you put money into this Roth IRA pre-tax, and then you take it out later when you're in a lower tax bracket. And Dave Ramsey says, if you live your life right, why would you be in a lower tax bracket when you retire? Well, why wouldn't you retire at roughly the same income?
Yeah.
Find a way to do it. Makes sense to me. I don't want to retire and have I only pay 20% tax now because I'm broke.
Can't do anything but sit at home on your seeds, as you say.
It's a good visual.
Yeah. Let's take a break, then we got a guest.
I think we need
to join us. We do after that.
Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com, folks. There's no reason for you to drive around in a car. You don't even have to get your car inspected anymore. Call Atzenhofer. Get the car you want.
The car you need.
Right. You want that car. You need that car. Call Atzenhofer. They're on the wall, putting dreams in driveways since 1926. If the flags are flying, people are buying. They're just down the road from higher prices on the Navarro Motor Mile. Reach out to Tommy Taylor. You can go in and say hi to Tommy today. Tell him Wade and Carter sent you.
Selling cars like candy bars.
He'll give you a discount on a new Chevy. White Trash Services, White Trash Site Services, employing lots of people, feeding lots of families. White Trash is reliable. They're friendly. And you can call probably now and talk to a human being at 550-1826. You need help. You need a dumpster at your home. You need whatever you need. Call BJ Nelson. She can get it for you. She'll get it from either at Lake McQueeney, at her Reno, Nevada satellite office,
or her Lake Tahoe satellite office. It'll be here overnight.
Or they have an office in Florida.
They'll just add it to an Amazon drone and then drop it off in the driveway.
Absolutely. Brand us. Call Commander Cody for all your internet needs. You want to monetize a Facebook page? I wish we could do it. If you would like him to help you with a website, the Commander is always there for you. Chesnick Furniture, Bobby Leon and his family serving you and yours for over 100 years, folks.
Yeah.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home, so get in and see why you just always do better at Chesnick.
Always.
They're fantastic, friendly folks. Bedding, furniture, and
accoutrement.
Thank you, Mr. French. Went Services, Went Electrical, Went for all your generator needs. Went in the morning, went in the nighttime too. Went Services, all your electrical service. Plugs, new ballasts. They can do it. Generators, turnkey generator service. BJ poo-pooing the idea of a Reno or Florida office
yet.
There's garbage over there. That means opportunity.
Yeah. Where there's trash, she'll travel.
Yep.
Hockey half minute real quick. Eastern Conference Finals begins tonight. Florida, Carolina, game 1. Dallas and Edmonton tomorrow night. And we're going to be joined by Marnie Conrad. So
can you do it?
I can make it happen? I think. Let me make sure we can hear her. Hi, Marnie. Can you hear us?
Hello. How are you guys?
Hey, we're great.
Let's just take a second, folks. That is unbelievable. We have so many buttons and switches over here. And Ash literally, not only did he add the video, but he pushed the right slide up. I couldn't be more proud. Can you give yourself some applause over there? I just could not be more proud. That's
Thank
just
you.
amazing.
I appreciate that.
No way.
It doesn't happen often.
He could not do that again in 1,000 years. No. We would push that up and we'd hear like mic feedback. Lots has happened since we last spoke to you. How are you doing, ma'am?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Good. There's a lot going on. Crazy.
Well, I had an opportunity on Saturday evening to visit with our state rep, House District 30, AJ Louderback,
member of the Honorable Jurisprudence Committee.
Absolutely. He was most interested in your story. And as I told you, he would be. And
Thank you.
Great. He's just a great proponent of justice. And I'm hoping that that relationship works out.
I'm so grateful, you guys. Thank you so much for giving him my number, for connecting us. We haven't actually spoken at length, but we've sort of missed each other a couple times and just talked for a couple seconds. He's been very busy, obviously.
Yes, he's there working sometimes 20 hours a day. Yeah. It's crazy now.
It'd be amazing what they could do if they would just vote to work on Fridays up there.
Right. He does.
He does. I know he does.
Everybody wants to take Friday off, and he's like, well, let's do this.
So the last time we visited, we talked about the tragedy that befell your family and the loss of life of your son, Matthias. But you've worked to turn that into as much of a positive as you can for others who are facing similar situations, and maybe hopefully it'll help somebody not face a similar situation. So you've been active, going to Austin, testifying, telling your story to the lawmakers in Austin. How effective has that been in getting bills not just heard, but to the floor as far as you know in past?
Well, I think that it's been productive. It's been encouraging. I'm very new to that whole scene, so I was fortunate to connect with Andy Kahn from Crime Stoppers Houston and Kim Ogg, the former Harris County DA, and other members of the Parents of Murdered Children. And they've been so amazing, just coming together, pulling everyone together. And so we formed this organization that will help us have a presence at the Capitol going forward. so that
Tell
we
us,
can support
tell
more
us a little bit
people.
about that, because that's why I wanted to bring you back on, because you've now turned this into a bit of a lobbying effort. Well, I shouldn't say a bit, quite a bit of a lobbying effort, but in trying to exact change and enact change in Texas and in Austin with the state legislature. So tell us about that, because this was just launched last week, and I think it's pretty exciting. And I know you're based in the Houston area, but this is something that all of Texas can take advantage of, correct?
Absolutely. Yes. It's we're called the Texas Crime Victims United.org. If anyone wants to check us out. And we are just the founders have found a need for people to come together, because there really isn't a lot of support for victims. And many of us have no idea what to do or what we're doing or what's going to happen next. So there's a big need, unfortunately, growing more every day. But we want to organize to provide support for people who find themselves in our nightmare. And we want to have a presence at the Capitol. We want to go there and support bills that will keep Texans safe. So I've been to the Capitol about 3 times now, and just watching the other members testify and just having a presence there, it's very powerful. It's been very healing too, in a way, to, like I was saying last time, to put my pain to purpose. I think we all have a sense of that. So it's good. It's good. And we would like to invite people to join us. If you want to check out our website, you can join us and support us. There's a membership form, and you can sort of see what we're doing and what bills we're supporting and so on. And reach out to us if you have a need, find yourself in need of our direction, or if you know someone, please let us connect.
I find myself always mentally, at least, supportive of organizations that are formed so that the organization is no longer needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your goal is that organization is not necessary.
Yes.
That we
Absolutely.
create legislation, that we deal with the criminals that need to be dealt with, that we educate the public, that we, and the next thing you know, you're like, okay, well, we're folding this organization up because we have solved this problem.
Mhm.
Now, we know with human nature, that's probably not ever going to be the case, but hopefully y'all can be bored at your
Yes.
meeting at
Yes.
some point.
Oh, well said.
Ricky King says, I think criminals have more support than victims do. And I think that, and I don't think that's just a misperception.
I think he's right.
Or perception being the reality. I do think it's right. And we talked a little bit about
He was a quiet boy.
Yeah.
He was just starting to get his life together. He didn't mean to do it.
How frustrating was it? We talked about the frustration that you and your family felt on the legal side of things, but what were the challenges to overcome just to trying to find support for you and your family through this ordeal?
In our community, actually, we had an entire Fort Bend County community come together and just ministered to us in every way. So we were really fortunate, but I've heard just horror stories that seem to be more of a norm, especially in bigger cities like in Houston, where people they learn about their loved ones passing on the news. They have nowhere to go. They have no idea what to do. I mean, it's deplorable. It's terrifying. And to be knowing what that feels like, to be in that situation where you're just catatonic. You know what I mean? Like your brain just shuts off. Your world has just imploded. So we were very fortunate, but even still, I didn't know where else to go, what else to do. So I was lucky to connect with another victim, and she's the one who took me to my first Parents of Murdered Children meeting. And they're so well organized. They work with Crime Stoppers, and they're so well organized to bring in people to educate us, like at the meetings, and just to hear each other's stories and to connect and support each other. It's everything.
Well, I encourage you, knowing what, and some of our listeners may not know, most of them I think do understand the story that we're covering here, but the lack of transparency, the unwillingness to be forthcoming with information.
Mhm.
There are elected officials involved in this, sheriffs and people that have to get votes to retain their positions. And I hope that you folks will use the leverage of your organization to say, if you erred, if you were wrong, you need to own it.
Mhm.
And you
Yes.
need to own it now, because this is not going away. And
Mhm.
now I've got 500 friends, and we're going to lobby against you at your next election.
Yep.
Unless you come clean. Because when people go, oh, well, that was before my watch, and oh, I went, well, fine, then just open the file.
Right.
Tell me what happened.
Exactly.
Let's get a timeline. Let's get it out here, and then let's see where we made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
How else do you keep from doing it again?
Exactly.
You know, so I think I encourage you. I want you to feel you're a very nice person. It's obvious you're a nice person. You were a mother first, but now you've got to be an activist. And it's important that you feel empowered to say, we're not going to take it.
Yes.
And I know that's out of your comfort zone. I've had enough conversations with Ash to know that this is not where you want to be, but this situation is not one that you wanted to be in, nor did your son do anything to deserve to be here.
Absolutely.
So I find myself really wanting you to go, out of all the people in the world, you know, God chose David to slay Goliath, a boy with a slingshot.
Yeah.
You know, so slay Goliath. Go empowered by us to do what you need to do to make it right for your family and for your soul and for the next person, so it just doesn't happen anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah, this should never happen to anyone ever.
And it could have been prevented so easily with
So
just by following the laws and the rules that were on the books. How important has it been to get a former Harris County DA involved in everything, or how active has she been in getting this rolling?
Absolutely amazing. She is genuinely and sincerely committed and interested to hear these horrible stories and to see where she can help and who she can connect you with to help, what they can do about it. I've just been so impressed. I can't say enough about Kim Ogg. She's amazing, truly.
And we've talked about this a little bit on here, but I believe Harris County and Fort Bend County have become victims of Soros-backed soft on crime DAs who don't want to hold people accountable and want criminals to have, more rights than the victims of their crimes. What are the next steps for the organization? You guys launched publicly last week, so now what's going on?
Well, we're following the legislation right now. The bail reform is obviously one of our biggest priorities at this point. So we're watching the votes, and yesterday was kind of encouraging. So going beyond that, we're just going to continue to sort of grow organically. There's some other projects that we're working on, but mainly legislation and just being able to invite people to come and speak with us for direction, and let's connect. Let's do this. Let's organize and be a force for good.
Well, I would encourage our listeners, if you or anyone you know is related to someone who's been involved in is it only folks at this point who have had murdered family members or murder? I mean, what's the scope of the group?
Anyone who supports what we want to do here, and anyone who supports and anyone who's had a murdered family member, loved one, they can fill up a membership form and join us and just follow what we're doing. And anyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome.
Well, we offer that up as part of the healing process. You can go to TexasCrimeVictimsUnited.org and you can get in touch with Marnie. And then through that organization, you can actually channel what no doubt is anger and pain and confusion. You can channel that into something positive by helping this group, just by having enough sheer numbers. Can you imagine, Ash, if you walked into the Capitol and said, well, we're now 1,000 members strong.
Yeah.
And that's
That
that's
would
1,000 members too many.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can take this idea statewide, which may involve more radio time on other platforms, at the end of the day, you may find people that there's definitely strength in numbers and there's clout in numbers.
Yes.
So not only do we have an opinion, we vote, and that gets people's attention in Austin and DC.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that a next step, looking federally to see what can be done? Or are you more focused on Texas first and fixing things here?
I think we're focusing on Texas first, but I would think that we will grow as much as we can, but Texas first, definitely. This is our state local concern. And
Are you seeing any change in Fort Bend County with what you've gone through and the pressure that you put on your newly elected leaders? What are you seeing there? Is there any movement, any hope at all?
I haven't yet, but I haven't given up hope. I'm still pushing. There's I can't wait to tell you about it when I finally do break through this wall, but nothing so far. No.
Well, it does seem to me, Ash, if
they've got something to hide. It
was almost like not my circus, not my monkeys. It's almost like it wasn't us. It didn't happen on our watch. Look, just let it go. Let it go.
And even if it did, they're pointing fingers elsewhere, going, "It was their fault, not our fault."
That's it. Yeah. And I feel like a fool for running around in circles, being bounced from it took me a few times around to figure out that this wasn't going to go anywhere. They were just,
I mean, yeah. And you feel, and I can only imagine how you feel, because you're probably questioning your reality, because they basically told you that what you're saying isn't what happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And there's, rage falls into that. I feel like they've made my son a footnote in his own end of life story. Like it's disgusting to me. It's not okay. And I could never just resign that and walk away from it. I just can't. There's a dignity piece to it as well. You deserve better. Anyone does.
Absolutely.
Well, we love having you on, and I can tell
Thank
you
you.
from right now, there's just been a silence in our comment section.
Oh.
Our listener base absolutely supports you. I can just, there's 100%. So we wish you nothing but the best. And I know it's still hard, but thank you for taking the charge and doing what you can do. And do stay after Sheriff Louderback. Here's the deal. After the session is over, we have 2 weeks left.
Mm-hmm.
After the session is over, I visited with him, like I said, Saturday evening, and he said, "Oh no, we're definitely going to spend some time together, because this is just something we have to do something about." So
we encourage you to stay with it, stay active, and keep us up to date. And I'd love to hear the story. I hope you get where you're wanting to get to, so you can come back and tell us.
Yes.
Thank you guys so
the
much.
whole, because I know you don't want to do anything now and jeopardize what you're going through, but I would love to hear every single roadblock you faced in trying to get answers to the questions that you had, because from what I do know, it's and I'm not going to blast anybody, but it's disgusting.
When you have something positive to share, please do reach out.
Thank you.
We will be reaching out to you, but it's okay to go, "Hey, Ash, I got one for you." We'd love to hear it, and so would our listeners. So
awesome. Thank you.
God bless you and your effort, and we wish you nothing but Godspeed, and we will talk to you soon, ma'am.
Thanks, Marty. Appreciate you.
Thank
Be
you
well.
guys. Have a good day.
You too. Super nice lady, super sharp. And, sometimes God picks people for certain causes, and you can, in whatever you're going through, right? You can have a setback, personal, whatever. I've always heard it say, when God closes one door, he opens another. But that doesn't mean it's not hell in the hallway.
Absolutely.
And you can channel it in your own life into something positive.
Check out TexasCrimeVictimsUnited.org. Learn more about the new organization that was just launched last week, based in Fort Bend County and the Houston area, but certainly open to all who want to see
I'm gonna
state
go
level
and see if
reform.
I can register. Texas Crime Victims United.org. I'm going to go see if I can register. If I can, I'm going to offer support. Folks, we wish you nothing but the best. God bless you. You're the best listeners on the planet. And we hope you have a great day.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye,
Bye,
folks.
folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my near every